Hi, my name is John Sanders and welcome to my blog. Today we're going to talk about interviewing. Interviewing for most professionals can and usually is very stressful. But what we're going to do is identify 5 key elements that are not only going to reduce the stress, but also make the interview more effective. The first element that we're going to discuss is know your interviewer. Once your interview has been scheduled, you need to find out who this person is. What is their name? What is their title? How long have they been at the company? What did they do at the company? These are all the questions that you have to ask. Once you have this information, dig further. Get on Google, get on Facebook, get on LinkedIn, get on anywhere on the internet where you can find more information. Get a picture of the interviewer. Find out what schools they've gone to. What other companies have they worked at? Who are their friends? You need to know all of this stuff. All of that information is available. You'll be surprised what you find. Maybe you worked at the same company in the past. Maybe you went to the same school. Maybe they're your neighbor. Maybe you have some common friends. Whatever it is, all this information is going to give you a competitive advantage during the interview, and it's also going to create some familiarity with the interviewer. It's going to help drive conversation. It's going to help you identify common points that the two of you have to create some rapport with your interviewer. The second thing you want to know is your resume. Know your resume, backwards and forwards, from the middle, from 3/4 ways down. Just know your resume as much as you can. Know your key strengths. Know your key responsibilities. Know your significant achievements. Know the times when know the month that you left the company, and then the next month when you started the next company. Why did you leave and why did you start? If there was a gap in between, even if it was 1 month, what did you do during that gap? All of these things you need to know. What's going to happen is at some point during the interview, usually at the beginning, the interviewer is going to say, walk me through your resume, starting from the beginning. This is not the time for you to pick up your resume and start reading off of it. The interviewer is going to ask you a lot of questions. They're going to cross-reference you. They're going to grill you. They're going to probe you. And if you're just reading off your resume and you don't know all the information in between, you're going to blow that interview. So please, take some time, know your resume, know all the details, especially all the value-based details that the interviewer cares about. The interviewer doesn't care about a lot of the details. When they're asking you questions, what they're looking for is what you've done in the past that benefits them. So if you can create answers and responses and stories based on value that is to the interviewer, it's going to make you very effective in your interview. The third thing you want to know is some questions. You want to have some questions prepared ahead of time. The interviewer is going to ask you at some point during the interview, do you have any questions for me? And if you don't have any questions, it's going to kill the momentum. Also, the type of question that you ask is very critical too. Don't ask a question like, what is the responsibility of this job? Or how long has the company been in business? You should have already done your research and gotten the answers to those type of questions. Your questions have to be of a high quality, because when the interviewer listens to your questions, they're going to be able to determine how intelligent you are, how competent you are, and how much you care about this opportunity. Believe me, there are going to be candidates out there, especially if they're represented by me, who are going to ask very high quality questions. Those are the people that you're going to be competing against. So it's very important that you put some very solid questions together. If you want some examples of high quality questions, shoot me an email and I'll be more than happy to give them to you. And the fourth thing, in every interview, there are some very common questions. Most interviews nowadays are behavioral interviews. So at some point, they're going to ask you questions about what you've done in the past. A typical behavioral question is, give me an example of a time when you had to work on a project that had to get done in a short period of time, and you had a difficult person that you had to work with in order to get that project done. What did you do, and how did you resolve the situation? When you give them an answer, they're going to probe you further, and then further, and then further. So be very careful about what stories you bring up and how you respond to those questions. So it's better off if you prepare ahead of time all of the different scenarios that you might encounter. Usually it boils down to difficult situations, difficult people, negative experiences. All behavioral questions are looking for those type of stories and how you handle them. A lot of times, candidates will ask me, John, won't I sound too polished or too rehearsed if I ask these type of questions, or if I memorize these type of answers or rehearse them? The answer is no. You're going to sound competent, you're going to sound intelligent, and you're going to sound like you know what you're talking about. That's the image you're trying to convey to your interviewer. Finally, you just need to relax. It's an interview. Probably there's more at stake for you than it is for the interviewer. They might have a few candidates of your same caliber. Maybe they don't. Maybe you have a very high-tech skill that's hard to find, and no matter what you say during the interview, you're going to get hired. But you don't know that. All you know is what you've done and what you're bringing to the table. So just relax. Keep in mind that you're there because you look good on paper. So all you have to do is walk in there and demonstrate to them that you are the same person that you said you were on paper as you are in person. If you can do that, then you're going to have knocked out a good portion of the interview and have gotten some success at it. Finally, as a bonus, you need to close that interview. You need to close it, and you need to close it strong. So once everything is said and done, you've had great momentum, you rattled off all the key details of your resume, you knew who your interviewer was, you had all the questions outlined, you had all the answers, polished and just given on point. Close the interview with a solid, "Thank you for your time, sir, ma'am. I really appreciate it. I'm really interested in this opportunity. If there's anything else that I can do to move this process forward right now, I'm prepared to do it." Don't say anything else. Don't say anything more. Just say that and smile. And they'll probably tell you, "Well, we have other people we're looking at, or we'll give you a call." Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You just need to close that interview. Once you leave the interview, follow up. Send a letter. Let them know how much you appreciated their time. Let them know how much you're interested. Just stay following up. But don't bug them. If they tell you they're going to respond in 2 days, wait 2 days. But if they don't respond in 2 days, follow up. I know it's a tough job market, but companies are still hiring. They've been hiring all throughout the recession. Only difference is they've been hiring the more prepared, the better, and the more polished candidate. If you look good on paper, that's great. But if you can't present yourself in the same way in person, you're never going to get hired. Not in this market, not in this new economy. So please take the time to review these 5 key elements. Review any other information you can find on the internet about how to interview better and apply that during your next interview. And I'm certain you're going to have better results and you're going to get the job you want. Thank you for your time, and let's make it happen.